I think there is a change of heart. Obviously, when they reported earnings in February and guided for the first quarter, they were guiding for the expenses to be roughly flat, which kind of raised the eyebrows a little bit because the activity levels were trending down and there was some concern. But going back to December when they announced the build out of everything exchange, there are a lot of investments that they have been making. So they basically wanted to maintain those investments going forward, but clearly 3 months later, we do get some change of heart here.
So we're talking about 14% of Coinbase's workforce being cut. I guess that amounts to about 700 jobs. Is AI behind this cut?
I would think that AI is probably part of the equation, but not necessarily the driver. They did, in Brian Armstrong's post on X, they did mention the volatility as being the biggest issue. So even we've seen the Bitcoin price dropping from 125,000 to 65,000, and it's probably, 81,000 today, so it's coming back in the second quarter, but there is a lot of uncertainty. So they're trying to adjust to that mainly. They're also, as part of the transition, they're cutting out some management levels, so they're trying to optimize the business, and maybe AI is the helper there, where the managers can actually be individual contributors as well.
So, Paul, I think a lot of people know Coinbase as simply a platform to buy and sell cryptocurrencies. So is this stock primarily, entirely, partially driven by the price of Bitcoin?
If you look at the stock chart, part of that reaction is kind of similar to what the Bitcoin is doing. But if you look at the businesses that are in the subscription and services businesses, the staking, the payments, and all those other things that they're building, there's really a lot of other things happening across the entire ecosystem, including the tokenization and getting even into more traditional markets like equities.
And certainly Coinbase is not alone, right? I mean, you've got a number of companies in this space announcing job cuts recently. Block, Gemini Space Station comes to mind, I think Crypto.com. What are the reasons why that these companies are offering for why they are tightening their belts?
I think so. I don't think it's necessarily a long-term problem. I think it's more of a cyclical problem. And because the cycles are so short in those businesses, the technology develops so fast, they really have to adapt and adjust almost on an annual basis or every few years when things change very dramatically. So they do have to refresh their workforce.
So, Paul, what's the next step for Coinbase here? What's kind of the bull case for this stock here?
I think the bull case is the ecosystem on the blockchain and tokenization, the base layer programming that they're building that can allow their users to build on that blockchain, the tokenization of different kinds of assets. So we're just having a lot of things in terms of payments, market structure, and things like that shifting very dramatically onto usage of blockchain. So I think that's where the opportunity is for them.